bucks. It's just hitting me. I'm not slowing down. I'm speeding up, man. I got big plans for the next 20 years. Why? Because I'm going to live longer, he said to himself, in denial of death. Flexible working hours. Now, this is really interesting. All right, who here loves the movie Dirty Dancing? Yeah, boy, some hands shot up there really quick, right? Yeah, I mean, everybody's seen Dirty Dancing, right? What's the backstory on Dirty Dancing?
It's a whole bunch of rich men and their families that spend the summer at the lake.
The entire summer. They spend the entire summer. Any of you in here can take an entire summer off of work and still have a job when you get back? No. Okay? But what we've done now, instead of taking big, long summer vacations, and I can remember when I was a child, we took a 2-week vacation in summer because that's just what everybody does. Now, is that the case? No, what do we do now?
Long weekend trips here and there.
We break it up. You're exactly right. We break it up. Long weekend trips, maybe a week. You know, we break it up throughout the year. Because now we have flexible working hours. We can do that. Now, is that good or bad for the travel industry? It's good. Why?
Get you more. People expect breaks for extended periods of time.
Non-seasonal. What happens in the old ways that you're a beach hotel in the summertime for your demand? Spikes way up. Everybody's trying to take their break over the summer, and you've got more demand than you've got supply. Now, if you spread it out, you spread the supply out, which means you can keep people employed throughout the year and not just hire for the summer, right? Early retirement. You know, it's funny, when the political season rolls around, you know, the politicians of both parties say, oh, the poor old people can't afford to live, and their, you know, their pensions, and that's crap. Old people have all the money, right? When you see these big RVs coming down the road, these, you know, $250,000 motorhomes on wheels, who's behind the wheel? Some old grandpa, right? They got all the money. And they're spending it. They absolutely are spending it. They're retiring early, they're living longer, they have more money, and they're spending it. That's great for the travel industry, yes?
But what about the young families that they work on the road and live in RVs, traveling while still working online?
That is probably 0.00001% of the population. Young families still struggle. I mean, they still have vacations. They go to Disney. They're the ones in Disney World. But the real upscale travelers, the ones that go to take European cruises and, you know, round the world cruises, are all early retired people who are healthier. You know, they're in their 50s and their 60s, and they're as spry as anybody, and they have all the money. They've saved up all the money. And so that's good. I mean, there's more leisure demand. It's increasing. Greater ease of travel. And again, a lot of people didn't travel when they were 55 because it was a hassle. Nowadays, right, you're walking through the airport, right, trying to get your gate, behind you, you hear beep, 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 beep. What's behind you? Old man in a golf cart, right? If you're old, the airlines will pick you up, take you to where you're going on a golf cart, and put you on the plane first. Who wouldn't want to travel that way? I'm almost like, man, I want to look older so that I can ride the golf cart and get on the plane before everybody else, right? The airlines know they have all the money, so they cater to older people. And so now, if you're older and you're traveling, not only are they taking care of you, they're basically kissing your butt. Because they know you got all the money, and they want you, when you can fly again, please fly Delta Airlines, you old codger, right? Because we know you got all the money, so spend it with us. And it's what we talked about. People are breaking it up into shorter, more frequent trips, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, I kind of like my 2-week vacation, but you got to wait another 50 weeks until the next vacation, where if you're saying, man, I just got to make it another month, and then me and my buddies are going to Las Vegas for a long weekend. It kind of helps with your mental health, right? And it allows you to get out and see more, travel and do different things. Okay? How are we doing? Last thing I want to talk about, remember I said at the very beginning, truth in advertising? I would tell you good things, and I would also tell you the bad things. Okay? Travel and tourism has negative sides to it, darker sides. And we could take an entire semester to talk about dark tourism. Sometimes it's innocuous and is as innocuous as cemetery tours, right? That's kind of dark and twisted, and you know, they have hearse tours, JFK. If anybody been to Dallas and done the JFK assassination? I mean, that's pretty dark, you know. The president was killed there, but people are fascinated with that. That's relatively small. It goes all the way up to like sex tourism. You can go to countries and do all kinds of weird, illegal things. And that's what's known as dark tourism. Now, I'm not going to get into it, but just let your imagination run wild. And people spend money to go to these exotic locations and do really, really sick, freaky things. And that gives tourism a bad name. Okay. In addition, there are things we call tourism pollution. And when we talk about tourism pollution, there's the actual physical pollution. Okay? I had a friend who traveled the world one year. She quit her job and saved up enough money, and her and her boyfriend traveled the world. And I asked her when she came back, what was the coolest thing and what was the most disappointing? And she said, the most disappointing thing was Mount Everest. They went to Mount Everest, and they went to the base camp. And whenever we see Mount Everest, we think of this beautiful, white, pristine mountain, right? It's just, you know, glorious nature. And she says when they got there, the base camp, you can't go further than the base camp unless you're climbing. That's as far as a regular tourist can go. She said it looked like a garbage dump. Huge mound of garbage right there at the base of Mount Everest. She said it was the most disheartening, disappointing thing she's ever seen. Think about it. When people go to climb Mount Everest, they're climbing, right? They bring all their stuff with them, and then they camp at the base camp in preparation to get up the next day to climb. So they eat, they open packages, they do. What do you do with all your trash? There's no garbage cans, there's no garbage trucks. What do? Just leave it on the ground. And that's terrible, right? One of the most beautiful natural spots on the face of the earth that's supposed to be majestic is basically just trashy. Now, fortunately, people are coming to the rescue and they figured some things out. Okay? This is a pilot program they're trying, and I think this is brilliant. If you want to get a climbing permit to climb Mount Everest, they say, fine, come here, and they weigh you with all of your gear. And in order to get a permit, you have to promise that when you come down off the mountain, that you weigh exactly the same as going up. Which means, not only do you have to bring your garbage back, but what else? other people's garbage, right? And so I think that's pretty cool. That's a great solution. I hope it works out. Okay. So that's what we mean by pollution. And I think we've all been to the beach. Like you're walking the beach, and it's so beautiful, and then you step on an aluminum can or a broken piece of glass, right? And it just kind of ruins the moment. It can't be helped. That's what happens when you get increased tourism. Now, in addition to physical pollution, we have what's known as cultural pollution. And it basically goes like something like this. You go to a place to visit because the culture is unique. Let's say we find a tribe down in Brazil, and they're a primitive tribe. And so people want to go and see this primitive tribe and see how they live and what they do. And so all these tourists start showing up. What happens to that tribe? It absolutely changes. They are not unaffected. You know, people bring them T-shirts. You see this, guy walking around with a spear, hunting monkeys with a Pittsburgh Steelers T-shirt, right? And then they figure out, well, we can make money off this, and they change to accommodate the tourists. And so what you've done is you've actually destroyed that culture by making it a tourist attraction. And the list goes on, and I'll use it, and it pains me to say this. I love Orlando. I was born and raised there. But Orlando is not the Orlando I grew up in, which was a small town. Everyone left their doors unlocked. Everyone knew each other. It's a big city now with murder rates and traffic and everything that comes along with a big city. And that's part of that cultural pollution that comes along with just increased visitors. So, the watchword of the day is sustainability. How can you keep your destination pretty close to what it was originally without having the tourists greatly influence it with both physical pollution and cultural pollution?